Hi, this is Aryeh Cohen-Wade, the host of Culturally Determined. This is an excerpt of my interview with Dara about her new book, People Love Dead Jews. If you want to see the full interview, you need to look on the Culturally Determined YouTube channel. A link will be below.
Well, I mean, my first question would be the title. This is a provocative title. Why did you pick it? Did you get pushback from editors or anything like that? And yeah, if you are you worried about people, not wanting to read this book on the subway or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, I if you find the title disturbing, you'll probably be even more disturbed by what's inside the book. So it is a fair warning. I actually did expect to get pushback on the title from my publisher, but they really didn't, which really surprised me. Maybe I could sort of do a psychological analysis about why, but I'm glad that they let me do this. The title comes from the first chapter of the book, which is an essay about Anne Frank, which sort of the explanation for why I wrote that chapter sort of tells you a little bit more about why I decided to write this book to begin with. And maybe are we ready to just go there?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So I first started sort of thinking about this subject in 2018. And that was when Smithsonian Magazine asked me, they approached me and asked me to write an essay for them about Anne Frank. And I just remember getting this request and just feeling this total sense of dread, because I'm like, wow, I really don't want to write about Anne Frank. And and I see you smiling, so I feel like a lot of people maybe understand how that feels. Probably a lot of certainly a lot of Jewish writers might have that feeling. But I was like, the logical thing to do would have been to turn down this assignment, but I'm a writer. I'm not a logical person. So I was sort of like, why do I not want to do this? Right. This is, and what I've learned is, as you mentioned, I've published 5 novels. I'm a storyteller. And I was sort of, what I've learned for 20 years as a writer is that often the uncomfortable moments, whether it's in your imagination or in your experience, are where the story is. So I'm like, why don't I want to write about Anne Frank? And then I remembered this news item from earlier in the year. So this was again in 2018, that of something that had happened at the Anne Frank Museum in Amsterdam. So this is this like, Anne Frank was, hiding in with her family and other persecuted Jews in these rooms in this like office building in Amsterdam. And that building is now like this blockbuster museum where, before COVID, they had, 2 million visitors a year. It's the kind of place you got to, make a reservation months in advance. So there was a young Jewish employee at this museum in 2018, and his employers would not allow him to wear his yarmulke to work. They made him hide it under a baseball hat. Uh-huh. And he appealed this decision to the museum board. And the museum board then deliberated about this for 4 months and then finally relented and let this guy wear his yarmulke to work. And I just remember reading that news story and thinking, 4 months is a really long time for the Anne Frank house to ponder whether or not it was a good idea to force a Jew into hiding. And I'm just like, there's something going on here. Like, this isn't a mistake. And so, I wrote this piece for Smithsonian, and the opening line of my piece that I published in Smithsonian, which is now the first chapter of the book, is people love dead Jews, living Jews, not so much. And it's about how there's this like requirement that Jews like erase part of their identity in order to participate in public conversations, in order to earn public empathy or respect. And so I was thinking about this. I published this piece, and then it was like, that piece came out in one of their fall issues in 2018. And it was a couple days after that piece came out that there was the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And it was like within hours of that attack, the New York Times called me and was like, would you like to write about this? And it was like, I just sort of had this realization that, all of my mainstream editors at, mainstream publications, like they always just wanted me to write about dead Jews. Like it just like kept happening again and again. Then there's another synagogue shooting. I became, as I put it in the book, I was like the New York Times' go-to person for the emerging literary genre of shul shooting op-eds. Like I didn't apply for this job. right? And I was just
And
sort of
you
thinking,
said shul, just to clarify.
yes,
not
yes,
school.
school shooting, yes,
School,
yes,
synagogue,
not
temple.
school shootings. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's another go-to person they have for that, but unfortunately, this is a genre, right? So yes, it's yes, shul shooting op-eds. And I was just like, why? And when I say why did this keep happening, I don't mean why do people keep shooting up shuls. That part I understand. The part I don't understand is like why I am expected to sort of like wax beatific and inspiring, and like say something about this for the New York Times or wherever. And what I realized is it's like people like to tell stories about dead Jews that make them feel better about themselves. And so that sort of was the motivation for the book. And I just remember after I published that, having a conversation with my husband where I was like, if I ever turn this into a book, like I should just call it People Love Dead Jews. And I was joking, but he was like, yeah, I think that's a really good idea. So, I mean, now it's time for making coffee mugs and beach towels. So, and I should say, I have a podcast which is a spinoff of the book, which is different stories from the book, called Adventures with Dead Jews. And so maybe we could do beach towels and coffee mugs for that one as well at this point.
Yeah, there's been all this. Maybe the biggest book of the last couple months in publishing was the Sally Rooney book, "Beautiful World, Where Are You?" And there were like beanies and tote bags and so forth with "Beautiful World, Where Are You?" And yeah, maybe the title makes it so that there can't be that exactly. But the first line of chapter 1, "People love dead Jews, living Jews not so much." I think that is like iconic in a way, and it's possible that would be. I mean, it's epigrammatic and dark and funny, and it encapsulates a lot of what you're going for.